everyone, and welcome back to the Citizens Conversation with the Candidates. I'm joined by Kristine Lytle, candidate for clerk here in Cayuga County on the Conservative and Experience Matters lines. Kristine, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here today. I appreciate that opportunity.
Sure. So let's start with a question for all candidates. Why are you running for county clerk?
I'm running for county clerk because I have a lot of experience in the Department of Motor Vehicles. And I know Sue Dwyer has worked so hard at promoting our Department of Motor Vehicles. And as a team, we've worked hard to, increase efficiency in our office. And I want to keep that service here. I want to keep moving it forward in a positive direction to make us more focus on customer service and bring our residents into our county to use our services.
Right. And in terms of your background, because you alluded to it there with working at the DMV, just give people an idea of your background is, because I know that you've worked at the DMV, which is, of course, overseen by the clerk here in the county.
Yep, that is correct. I've worked for the Department of Motor Vehicles for 16 years. 13 of those years I've been on the supervisory team there as well. We have a great team. The three of us work well together, and we, brought our Department of Motor Vehicles into a well-oiled machine, to say. I also have experience working in the county clerk's office. I was a senior clerk working with Sue Dwyer for a while before I went full-time and worked at the Department of Motor Vehicles as well.
So I mentioned, running on that Experience Matters line, which is an independent ballot line that was created. You've made that a key part of your campaign to say, I'm the one candidate in this race with experience working under the county clerk here. Why is that so important, you think, for voters to know when they consider who should succeed Sue Dwyer in that position? Sure,
it's really important. On a day-to-day basis, we do about 250 transactions in our Department of Motor Vehicles. Part of the county clerk it's an administrative position. And when you think of an administrative position, we're thinking about running at the efficiency and smoothness of the office. To be able to operate and to oversee people that are in these positions, we have to have an understanding of what they're doing. We have at the Department of Motor Vehicle 4,000 procedures, and it's imperative that we know what those are. With the knowledge that I have and the working relationships that I've developed with the staff at the Department of Motor Vehicles, as well as at the County Clerk's Office, it's going to have a smooth transition into that position so we can keep moving in a positive direction. I know Sue's put into retaining services in our offices and how important it's been to her to keep our services here in our county. And that's my goal, is to continue to work on that and improve that. Right now we're known for our customer service. We're one of the best county Department of Motor Vehicles as far as customer service goes. I want that to be the best. When you come in, that's what we're there for, is customer service. We're there to service you. And with 250 transactions a day, it's imperative that we know what we're doing. And I just want to carry that over and be there for our county residents. I don't want to take a step backwards. I want to keep going forward. With me, you're not going to have to train me. You're going to be able to send an email to me. You're going to pick up the phone and call me. I'm going to be able to answer those questions for you, hands down. On a Saturday, you want to call me, my phone will be on, and you will be able to reach me, and I will be able to answer those questions. Also, with my experience, I know the things that are lacking, and the things that we want to improve in. And it's going to help me in that aspect to know what services our county residents want and be able to work towards acquiring those services in our Department of Motor Vehicles as well as our clerk's office.
Just to give people a sense of what you're bringing to the table, what are a few of your priorities if you're elected clerk? Coming in, you'll be the first new clerk we've had in a couple decades here. So, what were your priorities? Starting on day one.
Well, day one right now, one of the things that are lacking in our Department of Motor Vehicles is our phone service. We have no phone service, and unfortunately, yes, we have email, but for our elderly folks that don't use a computer, it makes it very hard for them to get a hold of us. It also makes it hard, you send out an email, you have to sit there and wait for us to respond to that email to get a question that might have been very simple. With that being said, I'd like to get those phones turned back on. That's my very first mission as a county clerk. We are there for customer service, and that's just an area we're lacking. Another thing I would like to see is, I know people have very limited schedules. And if I could get a service provided where we can make appointments for people to set up an appointment, still be available for walk-in services, that is something I would like to see happen as well, so that we can accommodate the working man that's there just on his lunch hour. Also, we have limited services up in the north and up in the south counties. I would really like to get in with the county, the town clerks that do court services, and perhaps put somebody in those, maybe once a month to start, and put somebody in those services so that when they have court night, we might be able to address some of the concerns that they have that night. Also, UTVs. There's ATVs that we have right now. We have those services here for ATVs, but for some reason, once it's over 1,000 pounds, they're no longer registerable. I'd like to see us working on getting UTVs so that we can register those here. That would be an area where we can bring some revenue into our county. So those are just some of the things. There's a lot more I would like to work on, but that's just a start that I would like to start working on in year one.
Right. One thing I did want to ask you about is especially I think this applies to the DMV, that relationship with the state and that dynamic there. I know I talked to Sue Boyer about this many times over the years, and there always seems to be a bit of a competition there. How do you, market the local DMV as, yes, you could go online, yes, there might be some other options for you, but why is the local DMV so important for people to go to? Not just to get what they need to get done, but the local benefit of that as well.
The local benefit is that our money stays here locally. The services, if we don't use our county DMV, then they're going to outsource us. Just like a lot of other services we've already seen go out. And what happens at that point is if you get pulled over and you have a ticket and all of a sudden your car is being impounded for some reason, our local office is no longer there if you don't use our county DMV. We don't want to see that happen. Okay. Right now, our revenue right now is 3.25% that we see from our online transactions, where we get 12.7% revenue in our office right now. Those are going to change in the new year, but it's still very important that we use our office. Well, like I said, we see about 60,000 transactions in our office compared to online, which is only about 28,000, is about what we saw in 22. It's important that we keep our services here because those 60,000 people chose to come to us and have our services there. When you have an emergency, you want to be able to come into our office. And not to say, if we lose our county DMV, right now the DMV state is giving us, it's going to be going up to about 10% in the new year. But if we lose our DMV, what's to say that in 3 years, if you don't have a county, you're going to lose that revenue? They may say, you don't have a county DMV, so we're not going to pay your county the 10% that you're earning online. I don't want to see that happen.
The DMV is obviously probably the most familiar agency that's within the clerk's purview, but what else would be under your purview if you're elected clerk?
Sure. So our county clerk's office is that's where, of course, where I would be housed, and that is responsible for recording and maintaining records that are from the court records, land records, and lien releases and things like that. And the main function is record keeper of the county. That is very important. I would like to see some more services available online, but as well as in the house. I'd like to see the services be available for like DBAs and things like that. That is something that we can't do right now online. You have to come to the into the county clerk's office to be able to record a DBA. There's things that we can do now with signatures and notaries to be able to get those services a little more user-friendly to people. I'd also like to see some more digital records added to the files and some more services provided for, say, our first responders. We have a service there now for our vets, but we have nothing for our first responders. So I'd like to see that happen as well.
Okay. I lost my train of thought. Where am I getting it? I was going to ask you about the records, I guess. In terms of maintaining those records, and I know a lot of things have moved online, but certainly, I was being in the newspaper business, there is still an older population. So how do you strike that balance there with, yes, moving toward where everybody seems to be going, but also keeping in mind that, and not just older folks, but the lack of broadband access too is a challenge here. So I guess how do you strike that balance, in terms of maintaining those records and providing better access?
Yeah, so that's exactly why we need to keep our services here. We are in the phase 1 of the Dreams project, which is a $4 million project where we are taking our building of our records retention and putting everything digitalized. Now, what's important that we can still do, even though everything is going digitally, is we can still have our computers open in our county clerk's office, where if an elderly person does come in, we have staff there that is able to pull those records for them and still print them in hard copy and give those old records, so we can still aid them in reviewing those records.
What's the message to voters, I guess, when you're knocking on doors? This is maybe a different race than people are used to, because there are 3 candidates, which, yes, it does happen, but not that often. This race hasn't, this particular position, there hasn't been a contested race in 20 years. So is there kind of an educational piece too that says, hey, maybe they haven't been paying attention to county clerk before, but now it's an important year because there's going to be a new one come January.
Yeah, we have been blessed with Sue Dwyer for close to 20 years, and she's done an amazing job in our county and for our residents. I'd like to continue that legacy and keep moving forward. My experience is going to allow for that smooth transition coming in January. I would like to get out there. I've heard, why are you running? I'm running for the people. Okay, my mother has always said, step up when it's important to step up. We can't complain if we don't step up. So step up and do what you feel is right for the community. I've been volunteering since I was 12 years old, and I am a service member. I've always been in customer service. I've been in customer service for over 25 years. I take it to heart. It's important to me. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be running. But it is, and that's why I'm here, is because I feel like our county could benefit from my experience, and it's important to me that those services, we watch Social Security leave Cayuga County. And I watch when everybody comes in and I say, I need your Social Security card. They say, well, where's the office? And I have to say Seneca Falls or Syracuse. It's dreadful. And I don't want people to have to deal with that with our county Department of Motor Vehicles. That's why I'm running, because it's important to me. The relationship with my coworkers is important, and I want to make sure we have somebody in that position that I know is going to fight for our county Department of Motor Vehicles. Also keep moving our county clerk's office forward as well. Right now, sometimes our attorneys need to come in and they have to have appointments. No, I want to be able to walk through the door. We're there for customer service, and we should be in a walk-in office. Both of those offices should be walk-in. Our historian's office is not well used in our county, and I'd like to be able to get out there and publicize that a little more in our schools. Like, if you probably mentioned encyclopedia to our younger generation, they may not even know what we're talking about. These are things we can get out there, genealogy, and teach our children about that so that they can come down and feel comfortable using our historian's office. That's why I'd like to run and, help our community out.
With one of the roles I think of a county clerk, just based on, my experience dealing with Sue Dwyer over the years, is, really being an advocate to, in regards to what state government is doing, because there might be a mandate here, a mandate there. What do you see your role being, in terms of advocating for a local government such as Cayuga County when the state is making some of these decisions that might impact us here?
I feel like being there for the people. I want to be that advocate that goes to those meetings, to go to those ledge meetings, find out what these laws are, what they really mean, and how they're really going to impact our county. And be an advocate. You may not always be able to reach out to your legislature, but you can reach out to me. If I'm educated about the rules and the laws and that are being set forth on our county, I'll be able to assist a little bit better with our county residents. It's part of our responsibility as a county clerk to know what is going on in our county and be there for our people. We're not just there to record and maintain and file these documents. We're there to be an advocate for our county residents. We can't all be present, but I can be present and I can represent us still on those levels.
So when you're knocking on doors, what's the pitch to voters as you're going door to door and trying to convince them that you should be the next county clerk?
Mm-hmm. So when you're knocking on your doors, I'd like to introduce yourself. And the reason I'm the one knocking, I'm not sending a committee out to knock on these doors. I'm up on these doors and I'm knocking myself. Because at the end of the day, I want to be there for you. Okay, I want you to know who I am, what my face is, provide you with my phone number, and let you know I'm available to you. I've already reached out to so many people, even now in my position as the Department of Motor Vehicles, I still have people reach out to me on the weekends and night and evenings, and I answer their questions. That's what we're there for. We're there to assist. And when I'm knocking on the doors, I try to let everybody know that I am not a politician. This is the first time I've ever ran for a political position. And I'm running because I have experience and I want to work for them. I tell everybody, I'm not a candidate, I'm a qualified applicant. That is so important, and I want everybody to know, if anybody wants to see my resume, I have a full resume, and I'd be happy to provide it to anybody who asks me for that.
Great. Kristine Lytle, the candidate on the conservative line and experience matters line for Cayuga County Clerk. Thanks so much for the conversation today.
Thank you for having me here today, I appreciate it.